Good evening, Bucknutters. Welcome to What We Learned Live following Ohio State's 48-10 win over UCLA. We have a great group of guests that are going to be joining me. Garrick Hodge is going to be joining me here in just a couple minutes to talk about recruiting. We're going to hear from J Book after that, Heater after that, and after postgame interviews, we'll hear from Patrick Murphy and Steve Helwagen live from Ohio Stadium. Welcome to the show, my friends. I am Dave Biddle. The three biggest things I learned. First thing, injuries are kind of piling up. I'm not too concerned about it because I think most of them are minor. I didn't like seeing Julian going down, and they said it was an ankle, maybe it was a knee, I don't know, but he was okay. So that was a big relief. You know, you never know when stuff like that it can not look serious until it is. So it looks like Julian's okay, but Carnell missing his second straight game. JJ looks a little gimpy. Again, I think all of these. I'm not too concerned about anything, but I don't know, they're starting to mount up. The Buckeyes were very, very fortunate for most of this season. And they still are. I mean, 10 games into a season, the Buckeyes are still in very good shape health-wise, but the injuries are piling up. Second biggest thing I learned, James Peoples. So good to see. Great young man. I think a lot of us, I know I did, I thought he was going to be the starting running back coming into this year. And he was basically like fourth string some of the weeks. Not necessarily the fourth guy in the game, but there were games where the game was on the line. Was it Wisconsin? I'm trying to think of some of these games where he got one touch and the other three guys got way more touches. When the game was on the line, it wasn't like it was just because it was a blowout. Great to see James Peoples. It's great for the Buckeyes, most importantly, but great for him. He's a great young man and works his butt off. Looked like he was going to be the starter. And when you get your chances, you got to take advantage of it. And he did. He has that, he posterized number 21, the dude that took a little cheap shot at Julian, by the way, same guy. So I'm really happy for James Peoples. All right, a couple other things. I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna get two more things that I learned instead of just three. Gabe Van Sickle. We've been talking about who's going to be the right guard. Is Tegra going to keep the job? Is it going to be Padilla? Could Ian Moore kick inside? Could Ian Moore be right tackle and Phillip Daniels kick inside? Onionwa. Could Gabe Van Sickle be right guard? He looked good. Now, this is against UCLA's D-line. It was a handful of snaps. Although he was in there early. He was in there the third series. He rotated in there for Tegra. So it doesn't even matter who's hurt or what's going on. Tegra is rotating out of the game the third series, no matter what. Today it was Gabe Van Sickle, and he looked good. He's a physical young man. I like it. All right, and the last thing I learned before we bring Garrick Hodge in, I believe Garrick's going to join here quickly. Probably in about a minute, Garrick's going to join. All right, second team defense. What are we doing? Second team defense? And these are guys that are going to be studs here, absolute studs that we've been talking up. What are we doing? We're giving up 50-yard passes. We're not tackling people. We're taking terrible angles. Geez. And I love Matt Patricia's the relationship he has with his players. It's so cool to see that before the game, seeing the way that Matt Patricia interacts with his players, how much they love him, how much he loves them. And it's just really cool. And then, but these guys, the second team defense, it's going to be a bad day in the film room for those guys. They did not play well. Am I nitpicking? Yes, but I mean, what are you going to do? The second team defense did not play well. Those are the four biggest things I learned. So I give you guys one extra, but I tell you what, it's going to get even better from now because now we're going to bring in Garrick Hodge live from Ohio Stadium. Garrick, good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you. Apologize for the noise, but we're once again live under a tunnel as the chaos happens as Ohio Stadium empties out after another convincing win. Kind of ho-hum effort, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, don't apologize. I love the sounds of Ohio Stadium. You look great. All right, so Eli Johnson committed, 2027 recruit. What else do we need to know? And tell the listeners about Eli Johnson a little bit.
Yeah, really quickly, Eli Johnson, 6'3", 200-pound safety out of Texas. You don't teach that kind of size as a defensive back, and he has the hitting power and the athleticism to match, and the speed and coverage skills, quite frankly. But it was really interesting. Eli really wanted to jump in the class. I think he made the decision about a week ago. Let the network know he was courteous enough to do that about a week ago, and gave some quotes to Mike Roach. So we certainly were happy about that. He said he was going to do it after the game, so it kind of caught us a little bit off guard that he pulled the trigger about an hour beforehand. But he probably realized, hey, it's probably good to do this now instead of at 11:30 when people are in bed. So we get people excited pregame before kickoff. But no, he was here today, and he looked mighty happy to be in the class. And that's 6 commits now for the 27 class and 2 safeties already. And guys, this was Matt Guerreri's near top of the board target at safety. So Ohio State's rolling on the recruiting trail right now.
Tell me about the 2026 kids, the guys that are seniors in high school right now that are going to be committing in like 2 weeks. Where do the Buckeyes stand? There was at least 3 kids on official visits this weekend. Where do the Buckeyes stand?
Yeah, there's 4. There is Darius McKinley was a late add. He's the younger brother of Dominic McKinley, a former Target, now an LSU defensive tackle. Who knows? Maybe there's some correlation there for maybe a month from now. We'll just have to see about that. But yeah, it's a little early to tell on where Ohio State sits with all 4 of them. They're obviously about to go back and have meetings with them and say, hey, yeah, you like what you saw, and then kind of tell them their plans for what they'd be in Columbus, Ohio. Dre Quinn, defensive end. I know a lot of people are really eager to see what happens with him because Ohio State needs another edge in the 2026 class. And yeah, it's going to be interesting. Braxton Rumbert, a linebacker that's kind of 6'5", 200 pounds, and you could line him up at different spots, whether it be the edge or what have you. But Dave, it's a pretty interesting time to tune into Bucknuts over the weekend. Whether the weekend or maybe the next couple of weeks, there might be some interesting movement going forward.
Yeah, recruiting is just on fire right now. All right, before I let you go, I know you got to get to post-game interviews. I want to get your thoughts on the injuries that are piling up for Ohio State. Is it like, it's precautionary, nothing to worry about, or a little bit of a concern if you're a Buckeye fan?
Well, unfortunately, I'm not a doctor, nor do I pretend to play one on TV, but I can tell you that in between series before Jeremiah walked off, I did see him riding the bike, so he was keeping whatever is ailing him loose. Obviously, you want to keep Jeremiah fresh going into Michigan, so if you have to sit him out against Rutgers next week, obviously precaution should be the word, right? Carnell Tate, who knows? We'll get an update from Day in post-game, but honestly, if anyone has more than a boo-boo right now, I would just sit him, and you saw tonight. Bryson Rogers caught a touchdown in the corner of the end zone, made a nice adjustment. The depth is there to make it past these guys for a week, more than enough. And Julian Sayin just keeps delivering no matter who's out there. I mean, it speaks a little bit more to his Heisman candidacy when he does stuff like that, right? But, I mean, use the next 2 weeks to get healthy and then head into Ann Arbor guns blazing.
That's right, 14 days and counting. All right, I'll get you out of here on this. I want one more. I want parting thought on recruiting. What do Bucknutters need to know about recruiting? Anything you want to say?
Actually, all right, I can give you one parting thought. Nick Lauder, a in-state tight end, 2026, came here on a visit. It's his second visit. He did get the offer today, so Keenan Bailey is certainly zeroing on him. He's a 3-star Louisville commit right now, so add another potential flip target to Ohio State. But it'll be interesting to see what develops with him over the next couple days. And Keenan Bailey and Ohio State really kind of wanted to evaluate lots of different in-state tight ends, and clearly they decided to pull the trigger on offering Nick Lauder, so he must be the one they have in the highest capacity on their board. So we'll see if they get it done, but yeah, I thought that might be a little fun nugget for you as well.
That hat is awesome. All right, get to post-game interviews. Help the boys out. Appreciate it. He is Garrick Hodge. He's doing a great job. Thank you, Garrick.
All right, thanks, Dave.
That 24/7 Sports hat is awesome. Thank you, Garrick. Garrick is just crushing it. He's absolutely crushing it. I mean, you follow the dean, you better crush it, and he's crushing it. And speaking of crushing it, let's bring in J-Book. Jonah Booker, welcome to the show.
Hey, glad to be here. Good win tonight.
Good win for sure. I think, didn't you you pretty much nailed the score, didn't you? I think. So it was 48-10.
They went over. They hit the over.
They did. So what was funny was the spread was 31.5.
Yeah.
And then Nico was out, and I'm like, okay, that'll move the spread by about a touchdown. It moved like 3 points. It moved to 34.5. Then by the time the game started, it went down to 33.5. And I'm like, okay. And Buckeyes win by 38. Okay, so the main thing, so like I thought the second team defense was shaky. I'm a little concerned about the injuries, but not too concerned. James Peoples, that was awesome. Gabe Van Sickle played well at right guard. Your thoughts, sir?
Yeah, the run game looked incredible tonight. James, like I said, like I tweeted, James Peoples was running like the rent was due. I mean, that was probably his best game. Like he was running hard. I mean, we were going into this game thinking like, hey, we got a 1-2 punch with West and Jackson, but James People was throwing his hat in the race and saying, hey, don't forget about me. We can have a three-piece punch going with the running back situation, but not a lot of Tegra tonight. And I don't find it a coincidence that the run game had their best night rushing of the season. I mean, they rotated some of the guards, and I thought they played at an extremely high level. The one thing that I looked at this game, Dave, we're in mid-November, man, and they literally treated this game like it was a scrimmage. I mean, at one point, I freeze frame, and there was probably 3 or 4 freshmen out there on the defense, and then when you looked at the offense, you had your second stringers in there, a couple second and third string offensive linemen mixed in there. And that's why I said, like, life is good. I know we got a little bit of worries when it comes to the injuries, but I can totally understand where other fans are watching Ohio State was like, dude, they're literally treating this like it's the Hall of Fame game in Canton right now, playing second stringers and freshmen when everybody else in the country are in absolute dogfights just trying to get into the playoffs. I thought it was a fascinating strategy for Ohio State. Just like, you know what? We got this. Let's get some of these younger guys in here and call it the day.
Especially with the injuries mounting up again, like 10 games into a season like this is still a very healthy football team. But yeah, I'm with you. Like, and I did the same thing a couple of times. I'm just like, wow, he's in the game. I forgot he was on the team. But seriously, like, I want to ask you about this, like the Nico situation. I was looking forward to like playing Nico again, like less than a year removed from the Neyland North game when he was at Tennessee. What do you make of that? I mean, Bill King, our friend Bill King, was joking. I don't know if he was joking. Maybe he was joking. Maybe he wasn't. I believe he said on Twitter today that he thought Nico didn't want any part of Ohio State, that he was faking it. And then we were talking legit, J-Book, on the postgame or the pregame show on 97.1 The Fan today about like, well, Nico, when we learned he was out, like he probably didn't make the trip, right? Anthony Rothman and Tim May and I were all talking. Yeah, he probably, if he has a concussion, he didn't make the trip. He made the trip. What do you make of that? So he has a concussion, can't play, but you put him on a plane across the country. It just seems.
I think it was a business decision on his part. I think it could have been one of those situations because I had asked like, hey, was this kid on any type of injury reports or something like that? And somebody has said that he may have been in the protocols a couple weeks back. So it's one of those situations where you're dealing with concussions that happened, several weeks ago. You can probably play if you really want to. And I think he was just like, hey, for my career, it's best that I probably don't go into the Coliseum where I got my head split twice the last time I saw these guys.
He finally got good advice.
Yeah.
I've been saying his third uncles have been giving him bad advice. If they gave him that advice, hey, how about don't play against this defense? Like, that's actually good advice, as much as I wanted to see him. James Peoples, that was so cool to see that. Like, I believe in this young man. He has not played much football. He was a third-string running back last year, and they believed in him, but, like, he didn't play much because we had 2 studs, and they didn't get hurt at all. But great to see that out of James Peoples tonight.
I think when you look at this Ohio State run game, Dave, and the way James played today, and if this is what we're going to get for the rest of the season, you have no choice but to look at this Ohio State running back room and this run game and say, they are nowhere close to what their ceiling is at. They have yet to scratch the surface of how good they could potentially be with the three-headed monster here. Now, it's just contingent on, hey, I think you probably have seen enough tonight to say, hey, maybe it's wise to find other alternatives at the right guard spot, because we saw that, hey, we can actually play with some of these other guys, and you don't see the colossal mistakes and the blown assignments and blocking your own teammate that we saw in the previous situations when it came to the right guard position. But when with this, it's kind of interesting because CJ Donaldson's like way forward. Like, I don't even think he touched the field tonight.
He was out, I think, because he was listed. Was he listed as questionable?
Ruled
Yeah,
out.
he was listed as
Was he
questionable.
ruled out?
Yeah, I don't think he played. Yeah.
Yeah, but even if he
But-
played, when you look at his usage over the last several weeks, it's been continuing to decrease as the season progressed. But I thought Bo ran well. I thought Isaiah looked like he was an absolute beast. I don't know, maybe I was wrong, but that touchdown on the goal line, I know West got in, but the first attempt, it looked like a touchdown to me. Like, I was thinking to myself, it's like, man, that is great second effort by Isaiah West. And he reached it over and they just didn't review it. I'm like, this is a touchdown. What's going on?
I agree with you. I think if it was like a bigger game and a bigger situation, Ohio State would have can you even challenge? I think you have to just call a timeout because they're supposed to challenge. They're supposed to like review anything that's questionable in college. You're right. I mean, I wanted to see that because I was like, after I saw it, he like reached over the goal line for sure. I don't know if his knee was down. I don't know.
We'll they never reviewed it. But the first time it looked like the ball kind of crossed the plane on the first attempt, and then it was tremendous second effort to get back to the line of scrimmage and reach the ball over. I'm like, are they not going to review this? And sure as heck, they didn't. And I was like, that's a clear touchdown to me. How worried are you about the injuries with Tate and Smith?
A little bit. I do want to address this. Some people in the chat are saying it was whistled dead by the refs. That's why it wasn't a touchdown. Okay, I believe we have like many people saying that, so it's probably the case. I'm like a 5 on a 1 to 10 scale. Like I'm not blowing it off. I'm not like sounding alarms, but like it's a thing. Like Jeremiah definitely was gimpy, right?
Right.
Definitely was gimpy. But then again, he's out there catching like balls with like one hand, and like we saw what happened. Julian's like, wait, but I can't just throw the ball up and people just all like automatically catch. It's like, no, that's not how it works all the time. You have to throw the ball to other guys now. And Carnell's now missed his second straight game, but he looks fine. I mean, like the Carnell thing to me is strange. I don't know what's going on with that. Jeremiah looks a little gimpy. I'd probably hold him out next week, get everybody like all systems go for Ann Arbor. I'm a little concerned. What about you, sir?
I'm about a 6. I was thinking about that before I came on the show. I was like, I don't want to, I'm not panicking right now, but we're this late in the season and the Carnell thing is a little weird. I mean, there are some reports out there that it truly is a precaution situation, because when you start talking about the calf, as well as the Achilles right there, and we've seen it numerous times in the NBA where guys have come back and they weren't ready and end up popping that Achilles, and that's the last thing that you want. So if that is truly the case, then I'm of the mind frame of, hey, give him one more week, let him get ready. When it comes to Jeremiah, he was definitely walking gingerly, and if he was questionable to coming into this game, I don't know if it was the brightest idea to play him at all. I mean, you were going to smash UCLA regardless. I thought this would have been a great time to really get Julian acclimated with those younger wide receivers and those next wave of guys. And there, you could tell there were some communication issues. Bryson Rogers broke off a route a little too early. Mylan Graham, he's definitely not the high point specialist like you're seeing with those other wide receivers. And they're going I would say next week you're probably not going to see Tate. You're probably not going to see Smith. But if you want to have a silver lining in it, Dave, you can look at it and say, hey, Ohio State's pace of play is so slow during the season. It didn't allow a lot of rotation when it came to the wide receiver position. So a lot of these guys are getting thrown into the fire, and they haven't played bad. It's just hey, we need to get our feet wet. We need to be able to get acclimated to the game, be on the same page as Julian. Now, if they can get these next wave of guys up to snuff, and by Michigan, you get Jeremiah and Carnell back healthy, now you're looking at a situation to say, okay, we trust those second wave of guys because they've shown it over the last several weeks. And so that will hopefully deepen that rotation. And that's been one of the knocks on Brian Hartline. He's usually had a very tight, a very small rotation. And because they don't run a lot of plays, because they move so methodical and move so slow throughout the season, there's not a lot of opportunities for those second stringers. So hopefully with these guys getting some rest, they can really build that rapport with Julian Sand going into this Rutgers week.
Last thing, my man, Brandon Ennis had a really good game. He had that one catch where I was like, I think that had the ground, right? No, it didn't. That was a great catch by Brandon Ennis, and he's so tough. Took a hit. I hope he's okay, but like, man, Brandon Ennis, hell of a game from him.
Yeah, he played great, and they needed that. He's the elder state. And it's funny because I feel like Brandon Ennis, we all remember when he just got here, and now you're like, hey, he's the elder statesman in the wide receiver room. And with the two big dogs out, he really stepped up and played this game. What is your thought, Dave, on this whole, it's starting to be exhausting, Heisman moment for Julian Sand, and he hasn't had a moment, and he may have played his way out of the Heisman today. Like, I
joke about it on Twitter. Like, as soon as I start to get angry about it, I take my own advice. I've told Buckeye fans who are like, I can't believe they're saying Mendoza's won the Heisman last week, even not even this week. They're saying it this week too. I can't believe they're saying it. I'm like, calm down. It'll take care of itself. However we feel right now, it will take care of itself. Like, if Julian Sand beats Michigan and then beats Indiana, he's going to win the Heisman. If he doesn't, he won't.
The one thing that's starting to really agitate me is when it comes to Ohio State, I feel like the goalpost is always being moved.
Totally.
And it feels like because Ohio State is so dominant and Julian Sand's game is so precise that he's being dinged because he doesn't find himself in a situation to where they played so bad early on in the game that he has to dig them out of a hole. Now, I will make this argument to people. If you go into this Rutgers, and I know it's Rutgers, you're without Carnell, you're without Jeremiah, and he goes out there and puts on a show to show people like, hey, yes, I have great wide receivers, but with that being said, I'm still a baller. And I'm going to go out there with those next wave of wide receivers, and we're still going to put on the show. To me, I think that right there would definitely help his chances, but it's driving me crazy. Like, I know it shouldn't get to me, man, but it's driving me crazy how they move the goalposts so much when it comes to Ohio State players.
They totally do. They do with coaches. It's a different ball game for Ohio. Hey, you know what though? It's good to be king. You know,
hey, you
the territory
on Monday, Dave. Ohio State's so dominant. Their players can't win any awards because they're loaded with 5-star wide receivers. On Tuesday, we don't know how good Ohio State is because they haven't been challenged. They haven't went through the gauntlet of the SEC against South Carolina and LSU and 3-7 in Florida. Like, they never can pick a narrative when it comes to trying to hate on this Ohio State program.
Do you remember in 2019, all the people when Joe Burrow was all the Heisman hype? Everybody knew Joe Burrow was going to win, but everybody was like, wait, how are you going to give the Heisman to Joe Burrow? He's throwing the ball to Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson. Do you remember all that?
I remember.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't. Do you remember when Jaden Daniels won it? Speaking of LSU quarterbacks who won the Heisman, people were like, "Yeah, but he's throwing to Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr." Do you remember that?
They never said that. All they talked about was how dominant the offense was for those particular teams. But Ohio State's held to a different standard. That's okay. I mean, that's the life of the fast lane. That's the life of the king of college football. But I call out the hypocrisy when I see it. And it's funny because I knew Dave today when Texas A&M was in that hole because their quarterback played horrible. And I give them credit. They won the game and they came back and the kid threw for 300 some plus yards in the second half. But as soon as that happened, Heisman moment. That was his moment. He should
give him the Heisman. That's what they said last week with Mendoza.
It should be a finals. I'm like, why is that considered a Heisman moment when you play so bad to start a game that your team is put in a hole that you pretty much have to go pass for the remainder of the game? Like, hey, I got to throw 65, 55 attempts to dig my team out of a hole because I played so bad. But that's considered a Heisman moment. However, when Julian Sand from the word go is playing lights out from the start to the finish, not a Heisman moment. Ohio State is boring. There's no drama, so we can't give them any type of awards. Like, that's what I mean with like the goalpost is always being moved when it comes to Julian Sand. That's why you never see Ohio State coach win Coach of the Year, regardless of how good that they're doing. Like, they'll always give it to a Kurt Ferentz or somebody like that for Big Ten Coach of the Year, even when Ryan Day and this coaching staff is coaching their butt off.
Yeah, when Ryan Day wanted his first year, it's like, well, that's just because it's his first year. He'll never win it again. He could beat everybody 200-0 and go undefeated. He's not going to ever win that again. Jay Book, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it, my friend.
All right, I'll talk to you next Friday for our normal show.
Sounds good, bud. All right, let's bring in my man in Amsterdam, Heath Schneider. Good to see you as always.
Oh, Dave Biddle, my man in Inglewood. What's going on?
I feel like we should watch Pulp Fiction after the show here. I mean, what a great movie. I mean, anything Tarantino is good, but
nobody writes dialogue better than that guy. Nobody does.
I mean, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Yeah. And what's cool about Tarantino, like he wants to do one more and he wants to go out. Now, when he says one more, hopefully it's like three more, but he says he wants to do one more and he wants to go out guns blazing. God, it's going to be great. All right, your main thoughts from this game, my friend.
This team is a train wreck. 0 sacks, 0 INTs. Julian Sand had 5, I think, straight incompletions. We're doomed. That's my main takeaway.
It feels like 1988 all over again.
Yes, absolutely.
4-6-1 that year. There's not going to be a tie this year, but they'll probably miss a bowl game.
My takeaways are this. If you look at that first half, everything clicked. Everything clicked. They were playing at an elite level. They were playing as a team that could win a championship. There's probably 3, maybe 4 teams that could truly go through a gauntlet of the playoffs and win a championship. Ohio State's one of them. Ohio State is, from everything I've seen this year, the best team in the nation, and there's really not a close second. Indiana right now would be the closest.
I was thinking A&M, but
they needed a Greg Fry against Minnesota style comeback.
Speaking of 1988 Buckeyes, Greg Fry, baby.
Yeah. Did you ever read his story when he was out on Lake Erie and there was a boat capsized and they came up on him and pulled the guy out of the water? And
Greg Fry did?
Yeah, it's harrowing.
Greg Fry's a great dude. All joking aside, I know he was thrown into the fire in 1988 as a sophomore, Cooper's first year. It was 89 was the Minnesota comeback.
That's right, 89.
Greg Fry. And then 1990 was a senior year. Greg Fry, great guy. I vaguely remember that. And that doesn't surprise me at all because Greg Fry is like a super good human being. So he pulled somebody. So he helped pull somebody, save somebody from drowning in Lake Erie.
Yeah, so as I recall the story, and he related it to me, he and his brother were out on Lake Erie, and you know how Lake Erie, because it's so shallow, when the wind starts whipping, it can get nasty and big waves out there. So they started headed in, and as they were heading in, they saw a boat capsized. They radioed into the Coast Guard. They pulled one guy out of the water alive. They pulled another guy out, and as I recall in the story, he wound up. They were doing chest compressions, etc., trying to save his life. I do not believe they got that guy saved, but the first guy they did. And he said it was just one of the most harrowing things he'd ever seen, or he had ever experienced. It's life and death, and you're out there being tossed around on the waves, waiting for the Coast Guard to come. It's kind of crazy.
I will say this: Greg Fry had to get thrust into action in 1987. Earl Bruce's last game at Michigan, the Earl headband game.
Yeah.
Tupa had to go. Tom Tupa, the great punter, was the quarterback that year.
They say that Ohio State quarterbacks are not successful in the NFL. Tupa is our 17-year career guy.
And now CJ Stroud's going to be like, okay, calm down. Mike Tomczak was like, come on now. But yeah, Tupa did have a long career. Greg Fry had to come in for one play in that 1980 game. I was a little kid. And that was the comeback with Carlos Snow, that little like screen pass that he took, more like a screen pass. It was like more in the flat, kind of screen-ish, a little deeper than a screen pass. Carlos Snow, bam. But Greg Fry had to come in for one play, and he completed that pass.
Yeah.
As a
Carlos Snow, by the way, I think he went to Cape. I think he went to
Cincinnati Academy of Physical Education.
Yes.
Cincinnati Cape.
And I think he probably stayed it felt like he was at Ohio State for about 10 years.
He got hurt. Yeah. And that was back in the day because he burst on the scene as a freshman. That was back in the day when the guy stayed for 5 years.
Yeah.
We were like, he's still here? He played as a true freshman.
Exactly.
Now it's like
dudes
are like 30 years old. Like, really? You're like, dude, like
he's got grandkids already. Yeah.
James
Peoples. Let me I will eat crow gladly from last week. I said he was worthless. That run, what the 19-yard touchdown run was absolutely fantastic. His leaping over, right, the hurdling over is actually the second best move on that run. If you back up to the beginning when he first gets that ball, he makes a guy miss on a juke move to the left that is far better than the hurdle. Hurdle is going to be what everybody clicks on and sees on YouTube. But if you go back to the beginning of that play when he's about 2 or 3 steps into it, he has a fantastic juke move. James Peoples performed better than I would have thought he would have. And I will eat crow for that one. But hey, to be fair, Donaldson also performed better tonight than I thought he would have.
Yeah, and where are you at with the injuries? I mean, are you concerned about it? Like Jay Book and I were just like, organically went 1 through 10. I was like 1 to 10. Like, how concerned? I said 5. He said 6. How concerned are you 1 through 10?
So if we go by people, I am much more concerned now with Tate than I was last week. Last week they showed him in full uniform, smiling and laughing. And this week I was looking at him on the sideline. I'm like, wait a second, this doesn't feel quite what I thought it was going to be. Now it was a 3-6 team, 3-7 team. Now it's a rainy night in Columbus. Okay, you don't use them, but I am a 6.5 to 7 on him. And I fear it's one of those things where you wind up with him suddenly, he's questionable for weeks at a time, and then you're like, what happened? Oh, well, he tore both ACLs on trying to dunk a basketball or something. Like Ryan Day doesn't tell you, it's top secret. So I'm worried about it.
Stay on the show. I do want to hear from Patrick. We'll just go 3-man backfield here for a while. Patrick, welcome to the show. Patrick Murphy, live from Ohio Stadium. Heater's going to stay on unless you want to hop off.
No, I'm good, man.
Cool. I love seeing the Pete Rose jersey in the background too. It's awesome. Speaking of sports betting, no. Patrick, what did Ryan Day say about the injuries?
He's not concerned about the long-term health of – I think he was asked specifically about Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate. He said earlier than that, he said Jeremiah was dealing with a nagging thing that they wanted to be careful with, so he was on a pitch count tonight. Carnell, they held out, I think was the term he used. And then Doug Maurice asked, are you concerned about these two guys long term? And he said no. So, I think you have to take Ryan Day for what he says here and believe him. I mean, obviously, Jeremiah went out and did what he did, and the one-handed catch to start the game. He's limping around, no doubt about it. Something's bothering him. Before the game, when he was warming up, he's like flexing his right leg, as he's waiting for his rep. So it seems like it's something in the right leg. Maybe I'm reading too much into that. Maybe he does that just naturally, but it doesn't sound like it's anything too serious. I know, Dave, you and I talked this week, like if you're going to do that, if you're going to have guys with little things that you don't want to become longer term things, these are the games to not only sit them out, but then you get other guys involved. And that not only helps in case you need those other guys later, but there is this transfer portal thing that opens up here in the not too distant future. And you'll want guys to be happy, right? So you don't want it to happen because of injuries. You want to happen because you're blowing teams out. But if a Mylan Graham, just using him as an example, gets a handful more snaps and more targets and whatnot, then maybe he is feeling a little bit better about how things go once you get to the transfer portal part of the season.
So Coach Day is not too concerned about the injuries. If he is, he probably wouldn't be coming out there and saying that. If you're a Buckeye fan, Patrick Murphy, how concerned would you be 1 through 10?
I'd probably 5 or 6 maybe. Like, I think this team's been really healthy this season, and so they've been fortunate. But these things happen, right? I mean, how many years as we've had this availability report do you have guys that are questionable and then don't play and it ends up being fine? Or things like that. Like these coaches, the athletic staff, the trainers, all that, they have a long-term goal in mind, right? It's not, we need these guys out here to put up stats against UCLA. It's let's think about 2 weeks from now in Ann Arbor. Let's think about the potential Big Ten championship game. Let's think about the college football playoff. So I think if it were something more severe for either guy, for any of the guys, frankly, I think Ryan Day would not have so definitively said no about that. And, look, I think CJ Donaldson would have been listed as out, for instance. And you also got some guys back, right? Like Tywan Malone was back out there today and whatnot. So I think they're just being really cautious. I mean, I think they've been cautious all year, not just with injuries, but the way they've played, right? It's let's take snaps off essentially of our bodies. And, I think this is just a part of it. And it's football. Guys are going to get banged up, right? And, if it is something small, you don't want to see it become something big when it would affect you the worst.
Let's talk about some good things. I think we're all prisoners of they won 48-10. Let's nitpick all of the negatives. And I'm as guilty as anybody. They won 48-10. I want to remind you, they were favored by 31.5 before the Nico injury. After that, it was 34.5. Then it went down to 33.5, regardless of the betting. They won by 38 points, and it's like everybody's like picking apart like different things. I'll tell you what, James Peoples, just this defense. Now the second defense, not so much, but James Peoples, Gabe Van Sickle, just so much. There's a lot of good stuff to talk about, Patrick.
Yeah, absolutely. And we talked with James Peoples. He talked about the hurdle. Apparently, both of his parents were hurdlers in college, so runs in his family. He said I don't remember this. He said he tried one in the Grambling game and it didn't go as well. I don't remember that play off the top of my head, but he's brought it up twice, so he's glad that this one worked. Look. And Dave, you and I have talked about this. There's a reason that they liked James Peoples so much, right? There's a reason they recruited him. There's a reason they thought he would be one of the top 2 backs this year. It hasn't gone the way this season, the way he hoped. He admitted that when I asked him about it. But, to have a game like this, potentially a breakout type of game, I think it's going to be hard for him to put up monster numbers because of the rotation and kind of where he seems to sit in it. But if he's playing well, that's only good news for the Buckeyes, right? Look, the defense that you mentioned, the first team defense, second team defense, they've talked before about how they want to hold the shutouts and things like that. I think it's hard to do. A, they're still playing against first team Big Ten players, and B, the mentality of just like, hey, we're up big, you go in the game, obviously you want to put your best on film, but I think it's a little bit human nature to not let down, but just you're up 30 something points, right? And that's something I think with young guys especially is hard to work out, especially a guy like Devin Sanchez, for instance, who hasn't played in a role where he doesn't play a lot very often, right? He was a superstar in high school. So, getting used to that, and I know we're 10 games in the season, but I think that takes some time. So I'm not too concerned about that. Obviously, the first team defense did its job. Kick return touchdown? I mean, like,
First one in 15 years.
Almost 15 years exactly. It was against Michigan with Jordan Hall in 2010. I joked on Twitter, like, you got a kicker that's making 40-plus yard field goals. You're returning punts when you're not just letting them bounce. And now you've got a 100-yard kick return, too. It wasn't like this was, the 85-yarder that Jordan Hall had in that game. This was from the end zone. So
this is some loser kick return. This is like the real deal.
This is what Ryan Day said. Special teams is a weapon now. Like you're using this to put points on the board, and I think that's if nothing else, I think that gives them confidence in special teams going forward. I thought it was interesting, Julian saying those first two drives of the second half without Jeremiah Smith. Like, I was interested to see what Julian saying would do without Jeremiah and without Carnell Tate, right? Like, can you still be the most accurate quarterback in the country? And I think it's tough to say because obviously he doesn't get as much time with those other receivers, so there's kind of a mixed bag there. But they got it going eventually. I thought Ligon Keenholtz had a couple nice throws. Again, James Peoples getting to the end zone for a second time. Isaiah West getting his second touchdown of the year. Bo Jackson. I mean, this was their best Big Ten rushing game. Now it's against the worst Big Ten rushing defense they've faced, and then they'll face the worst Big Ten rushing defense, I believe, next week. But you and I talked about it when we were on the fan last night, Dave. Like, you got to do this against a team that's bad in certain departments or bad in general. And look, they gave Steve's title for his quick takes. Like, they didn't let UCLA get anything going to have any shot in this game.
That was cool. The Bucknuts takeover on 97.1 last night was cool. We had a Buckeye show. It was Patrick and I co-hosting the Buckeye show last night. So that was fun. Patrick, thank you very much, sir. I appreciate it.
All right. See you guys. See you, Heater.
All right. Love it.
Before we bring in Steve Helwagen, so Heater, your thoughts on what Patrick had to say? Anything that stands out to you? Or is there anything else?
Yeah. So the
$5 shake. I never understood that. Like, he didn't say it was a $15 shake. I know that the movie came out in like 1994, but even then it was like $5 shake. It's just like ice cream and milk, like, right? Like, yeah, $5. It's not like $20. $5.
Yeah, exactly. But
he acted like it was like a $50 shake.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that gotta be daggone good shake. So
Jackrabbit Slims.
That's right. I would say this. I would say I will also eat a little bit of crow on special teams because special teams over the last for most of the year has been pretty good. Obviously, we don't have a field goal kicker with a hip problem this year. That helps. And so he's 12 of 14 on the year, somewhere in there. And now special teams is such a weapon, Dave, that the opposing punter is literally just kicking it into your chest. They're so afraid that you're going to do something.
I like that. That was good.
That was an amazing thing. I've never seen such a shank. And thank goodness he's wearing something to protect his chest. It could have stopped his heart. Good grief.
Does Caden Curry get credited for? Because he does. He
does get credit for a block. Yeah, he has to. It was off the foot and it hit him first.
Hit him.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen that in football.
Isn't that the funniest thing? Like, it doesn't matter if it's a shank, and just like other stuff, like if you're closest to, the person that falls down, I'll take that tackle. I touched him, that kind of stuff. I think everything he said is right on. I wonder what I wrote it down. I wonder what Ryan Day means. Like, I'm not concerned about their health long-term. Does that mean next year? With Ryan Day, you truly never know. Who was it that was on the report every year? And he's like, it's just a week-to-week thing. And he was out the whole year. Who was that?
Running back?
That might have been.
Can't remember now. Yeah. You're right. But now, like, they used to do the availability report, like, out of the kindness of their heart. Like, now they have to do it.
Right.
Because of
gambling.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. And I was concerned when I saw the report come out, and then they did the pregame interview with Ryan. He said, "Oh yeah, he'll play." So it's good to know he was on a pitch count. But I would sit there and say, like, you don't need him tonight.
Oh, was it Jackson Smith and Jigba?
Yeah.
Every time, I love the chat. Chat, you all guys always step up.
Yeah.
Love you, chat. I love you guys.
Yeah.
You always step up. Anytime there's anything, like, it could be the most obscure. This wasn't even that obscure. It could be the most obscure thing in the world. Chat will know. Yeah.
And it was his hamstring was so bad it was like Lazarus. Like I mean, you could have pulled it like right off of his body. It was gone. And he's like, week to week, 6, 7. He could be here 6, 7 weeks. Who knows?
6, 7. Yeah, I didn't like the call on 67 Austin Saraveld on an unbelievably bad holding call, absolute phantom penalty.
Yeah.
Heater, stick around. Do you want to stick around?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good to stick around.
I'm going to bring in Steve Helwagen.
It's always great to see
get his thoughts real quick, and then we'll cap the show after we get Steve's thoughts. Steve Helwagen, welcome to the show, my friend.
Here in beautiful Ohio Stadium, 104-year-old Ohio Stadium, or however many years. God, still looks like it was open just last week.
Ross is getting things a little updated for us, but
yeah. Hey, Heater, I got a question for you. Heater, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Can I have your shirt?
Yes, absolutely, you can.
Do you remember that where Ari had
the yellow jacket? Yeah.
The jacket, the guy's jacket.
100%.
We're just going to like inside jokes already.
Okay. Yeah, and the Fiesta Bowl guy is back at the hospitality room and said, "Man, you can't keep that sign. That belongs to belongs to the bowl game." And Heater, who's best friends with the guy from the bowl game, stands there next to him and points to him and goes, Can I have your shirt?
Okay. You have the shirt off your back.
Yeah, Andy and his wife Sarah. Andy and Sarah. They are so awesome.
Fiesta Bowl pullover, like shit, yes. I mean, it's probably $70 pullover.
Well, that was great. Like Heater was like in the press box with us for a while, and then he's like, I'm gonna meander around a little bit, and he ends up in the suite with the people who are running the Fiesta Bowl.
That is correct.
That's where Fiesta Bowl suite.
That's where you want to be.
That's
100%. Well, so if you'll remember, they had me in the auxiliary press box, which is the top row at the zone. And you're barely in the stadium. Might as well have been blimp view. And I went to Andy. I said, "Hey, is there anything we can do?" And he's like, "Come with me." And wound up in the suite with like I don't know, people that were
all the muckety mucks.
Oh yeah, all of them.
Yeah.
We're going off the rails on a crazy train. That's how we do it.
That's it. It's 11:41 p.m.
Way back in the day when we invented podcasts, we didn't know there were podcasts yet. We called it internet radio. Bucknuts Front Row Radio. The intro song was always like Ozzy Osbourne, Crazy Train. All right, Steve, what do we need to know from post-game interviews? We did hear from Patrick. Your takeaways from post-game interviews, injuries, anything else you want to pass along?
Yeah, I think it was good news that Coach Day said that it's not a long-term thing for either Tate or Smith. You obviously don't like to see Smith out there limping around. I mean, that's the man of steel, for God's sake. And here's the thing. I mean, did he come out in the first series and Sand throws that back shoulder pass to him and he's like this and just goes, whoop, with his right hand, just somehow snags that thing out of the air and gets his feet down in bounds. I mean, he's a magician. I mean, he's nothing short of a magician. They didn't need Tate, obviously. I don't look at this as a Jackson Smith, the Jigba thing. Our friend, comrade, Doug LeMaurice tried to ask that question. We all got duped 2 years ago, 3 years ago with the Smith, the Jigba thing. Is this along those lines? And
he actually said that. Did he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good on Doug. Doug's always asking good questions.
He brought the name into play. He said, "Yeah, we saw this."
Is this a Jackson Smith and Jigba situation?
Yes.
I like that. And
yes.
Coach Day said no.
He said no. He said it is not. He said it was a precaution. So take the man at his word, I suppose. But, here's the thing. I mean, obviously next week is Rutgers. They have an off week this week, so they'll be rested up coming in here. But they're not very good either. I mean, they've lost a bunch of games that, they probably could have won. And, my God, they have to celebrate a last-second field goal to beat frickin' Purdue. I mean, it's just like, come on, man. So they're not any count either. And that's the game that puts you in the playoff. That gives you your 11th win, and you are automatically in the playoff with 11 wins. It's not a written rule or anything, but trust me, you're in at 11-1 or 11-1, or even 11-2, you would be in. So yeah, so they're all good, baby. It's all good.
A lot of good things tonight. You look at Gabe Van Sickle coming in at right guard. I thought he played well. I need to rewatch the game.
Did anybody know what that was? Was that just straight replacing Tegra finally?
Yeah, it's nothing new. It doesn't even matter who is the backup right guard. That guy is going in for Tegra the third series.
Okay.
Today it was
and they kept him in there. He played quite a bit.
They like him. They talked about him in the spring that they liked Van Sickle.
Did Tegra even come back at all after that?
He didn't play very much. Did he? I'll have to rewatch it. It. I don't know, but I thought Van Sickle played well. Obviously, James Peoples, his career night. That was awesome to see. And I thought Brandon Ennis really played well, Steve.
Yes, he had 6 catches, only about 30 yards, but a lot of them were to convert third downs and important situations. And Isaiah West, he's kind of an unsung hero here tonight as well. He ripped off a 38-yard run. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. I mean, a lot of people had their fingerprints on this. Bryson Rogers, a couple nice catches. Mylan Graham, several catches. So, little by little, they're getting other people involved in this thing. And that's been great to see. Defensively, obviously, a lot of younger guys are getting some run over there too. They started subbing about middle of the third quarter. And yeah, UCLA did move the ball a little bit, did score a touchdown, but who cares? When they said Nico wasn't going to play, Ohio State was like a 31-point favorite at that point. And when Nico was going to play, and then it went to like 34, whatever it wasn't nearly enough, obviously. So, I asked Brandon Ennis when news comes across the team this morning, when everybody gets up and sees that Nico's not playing, does that change your mindset? Do you kind of take a step back and say, oh, this is easy money tonight, we just got to throw our helmets out there on the field and we got to win? Or did you have to sit people down and say, no, we got to go hit people and we got to go make plays? And he said, yes. He said almost verbatim, that's what we said. We sat the younger guys down and we said, it doesn't matter who's playing for UCLA. What matters is we go out and handle our business. And I think by and large, that's exactly what we saw here tonight. The first comment after my game story, guys like, I know we won, it was 48-10, but just kind of disappointed. And I'm like, disappointed about what? You got it too good, man. You 14 wins in a row, 13 of them by double digits, and it still doesn't suit you. I don't know what to say to you people.
Yeah, we're all very spoiled. Very spoiled. That's why I'm trying to bring it back. Let's talk about the good stuff. Cause even me, we got to be critical. We got to talk about things that don't look good, but my gosh, I said this earlier in the show. It's good to be king. My gosh.
Yeah. I mean, you had to settle for a field goal in the first half. Whatever, those things happen. On the one touchdown drive, they converted a 4th down. And then it was 4th and whatever. And boy, that looked real bleak here at the stadium. He's rolling right. Everybody's covered. You're like, what is he going to do with this football? He has to throw it up for grabs. It's 4th down. And what happened was Bryson Rogers lost his man, made a veteran move to come back to the football, lost his guy, and then caught it at the goal line, fell into the end zone. And just a great veteran play by a guy who hasn't played a whole lot. So, you don't want to go long stretches without Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate, but it's good to know that a few other guys are capable of making some plays if need be. So that's kind of what I came away with tonight about. And again, next week, haven't heard yet what time the game will be. We knew it was either going to be 12, 3:30 or 4. So
what's your best guess? You're good at this. What's your best guess?
I would think either CBS at 3:30, because you have the number one team in America and in the New York market with Rutgers, quasi, the 15% of people in the New York metropolitan area that even know that
0.15
even know that Rutgers exists. And then
definitely not 15%.
No. And then that's what Duaney thought when he brought him in. 15 years ago or 12 years ago, whatever. But 4 o'clock is intriguing. That could be on, maybe Fox sometimes has some 4 o'clock games. It could be a 4. We don't want 12 o'clock. We just don't want 12 o'clock. That 12 o'clock sucks so bad. From here, having to come to these bleeping games,
Trust me, I do a post-game show.
It's a
live
fire
on the
drill.
stadium. So like if it's noon, so the pregame show on 97.1 is an hour and a half. So it would be 10:30. So we would start at 8:30 if it's a noon game. 8:30 to 10:30 would be the pregame show. I love it though.
It's a fire drill to get down
love
here by 10 a.m. to take it all in. And I just 3:30 is so leisurely. Yeah, we'll get there. Yeah, we can leave the house at 12:30. We can leave the house at 1. We'll be fine. It's like no problem. So that's my wish. But
Somebody in the chat's like, I get this. They're probably like, what kind of like information is this? He's like, 12, 3:30, or 4. Well, that answer would cover.
They
all.
haven't made the goddamn decision.
And I'm like,
yet.
listen, I get it, but I even said, I'm like, that's what they told us. Like we report the news.
Let me
here.
make it up.
We just report the news. I love you, Steve. He says, Steve, your fans are out in full force. I love you, Steve. It's our time. There we go.
There you go.
All right, Steve.
There you go.
It's your time to get back to work.
It is, fellas. Have a great night and a pleasant tomorrow. And Ohio State basketball, 12:30, Notre Dame, Fox Sports 1, first game against a Power 5 opponent. And we'll find out if there really is anything to this team or maybe not. So there you go.
Let's go.
Yep.
Bucks. Good stuff.
See you tomorrow.
Thanks, buddy. So one guy I have not brought up, we brought him up in the chat. I agreed with somebody who brought him up in the chat. A couple of people talked about him.
What was that?
Kenyatta Jackson. Kenyatta Jackson's out there playing some football.
Oh,
he looked good.
Boy, he's looking good. I actually wrote a little bit about him in the immediately after the game analysis, but it was more about the defensive line as a whole and Larry Johnson. And at some point, we need to remember that and remind ourselves, since we're talking about the good things, he's got to be the GOAT of college football defensive line coaches. Like, why at some point, why don't we just trust that whatever he says, he's going to make it happen. He's going to get guys to produce, and he's going to have a stone wall up at the front. And Kenyatta Jackson was one of those tonight. He was all over it. I also thought that Caleb Downs played his best first half I've seen him play at Ohio State. He was everywhere, it seemed like to me.
And then they got him out of there. They were like, all right, let's not get you hurt.
Yeah.
But I saw Fahim Delane in there. I was like, what's going on? And they're like, oh, yeah, they don't want to get Caleb. Because that was like second quarter. You're right. Caleb Downs was balling out.
Yeah.
I don't think he played past – did he even play in the second quarter?
He did. He was in the second quarter. I don't know if he finished the half though. But like it was from the first play of scrimmage on, because remember he blew up that screen. He ran over the receiver to make the tackle.
So smart too.
Oh yeah. Yeah. But back to Kenyatta, like everything that was going on the defensive line tonight and in the first half. I'm just talking first half. Once we got the subs in there, it becomes a little different, but that was exactly what I would want to see out of this team going down the stretch. And Larry Johnson, I mean, we always seem to be like, oh, is he going to retire? Is he not going to retire? It's hurting our recruiting. It's really not hurting our recruiting, guys. No. We seem to be doing really, really well. And
even transfers were like, I get to play for Larry Johnson, like Bo Atkinson talking about. I get to play for Larry Johnson. I'm sure they're going to land a D tackle, or we thought they'd land a D tackle in the portal last year. Turns out they didn't need to because Tywone Malone stepped up. Caden McDonald is like the best one tech in the country. And again, as people are talking about in the chat, how about Will Smith Jr.? He had a great play that's not going to go in the stat book. They almost handed it off to that running back. I wish they would have, because Will Smith Jr. was there just to destroy that guy. Will Smith Jr. is playing really well. That's awesome to see.
He is playing better than I would have thought he would play. Right. It was one of those things because he's a legacy. You're like, well, is he getting that because he's legacy, or is it because he's like legit? And he's much more legit than I would have given him credit for. And it's every time I think of him, and I know it's probably cliche, but every time he's like there to blow up a play, I just think back to back to Independence Day when the capsule pops open. He's like, "Welcome to Earth." Bam.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Oh man. Second team defense, a little leaky, a lot leaky.
Yeah,
but what are you going to do? And I loved seeing Matt Patricia, and this is nothing new. We've seen it every week when they show like Matt Patricia and the players, how much they love him, I don't know, like how involved he is with the players. They love him. And I think they liked playing for Jim Knowles, Heater. I do. Like I talked to the players, they liked Jim Knowles. I think they love Matt Patricia.
So Jim, here's what I would compare it to. Like this is Jim Knowles is like college professor guy. You respect him, you're going to listen to him, you're going to take notes, right? And you're going to write those notes down. You're going to learn, and you're going to learn in the class. Patricia is that guy that puts his arm around you as your mentor and says, "Hey, come with me, young Padawan, and I'll teach you." And every single one of them are like, "Teach me, Yoda. Show me what I got to do." And they are buying in. And why wouldn't you when he flashes 3 Super Bowl rings? And he is speaking. This defense is always the same language with different dialects depending on who the coordinator is. He has gotten a dialect of that language that they all speak, and it's fantastic to see. And it looks like he's having the time of his life. Every time they show him on the sidelines, it looks to me like he is just in his element. And every time they showed Jim Knowles last year, it always looked like he was. It always looked like he was giving some 16-year-old their driving test. He hated being there, and it was painful for him. And it's the exact opposite with Matty P, and I love seeing it. He's got a little Ted Lasso in him. Like the players love him that much. I just want to see him do the running man in the middle of them at some point.
All right, my man in Amsterdam. Any parting thoughts before I let you go?
10-0. To use your line that you've used, I am definitely basking. I'm ready for Rutgers. Final tune-up. Same thing I've been saying for the last few weeks. Stay focused. Don't get hurt. And the third thing is get some stats for postseason awards. Right. I mean, that's about it right now. Stay focused. Don't get hurt. Don't get hurt.
Yeah.
Or get healthy. Either one. And pad those stats.
That's exactly right. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it.
Best show of the year.
Yeah, until next week.
Of course.
We'll
top it.
There you go. Thank you, Heath.
All right, brother.
Appreciate it, man. This is my man in Amsterdam, Heath Schneider. Heater's been with us since 2006. Speaking of the Fiesta Bowl, I met Heater down there. We don't need to talk about what happened in that 2006 national championship game, because technically that was January 1st, 2007. Ted Ginn did have a kickoff return for a touchdown in that game, though. But other than that, the trip was went really well. They never should have left Sun Devil Stadium. Damn it. I'm still mad about it. But great stuff from Heater. Thanks to all my guests. Really appreciate it. Like a loaded backfield tonight. We had Garrick Hodge talking recruiting. I mean, get on Bucknuts right now. We've got a ton of recruiting stories. You can read them on Bucknuts right now, and it's going to keep going. Recruiting is heated up and then some the last week and a half. And then early signing day is 2 weeks from Wednesday. Should it be then? No, it should be in July. Okay. They're going to do an early signing period. Shouldn't be the week of conference championship games. They had it in late December and they moved it to early December. It just should be in July. But it is 2 weeks from Wednesday. So keep it locked to Bucknuts. The Buckeyes are just crushing it in recruiting right now. It was looking like, Ohio State's going to have like a okay recruiting class for their standards. Hopefully they can crush it in the portal. No, they're going to have a really, really good recruiting class, and they will probably crush it in the portal as well. But thank you to all my guests. Garrick Hodge bringing the noise with recruiting. J-Book coming strong as always. Heater, my man in Amsterdam. We had Patrick Murphy. We had Steve Helwagen. Thanks to all my guests on the show, and thanks to all you. We have a very large audience. Wow, over 3,000 people right now watching us live. Thanks to everybody watching us live. Thanks to everybody listening to the audio-only version. We appreciate it very much. Join Dan Rubin and I Monday morning at 9 o'clock for the Bucknuts Morning Five. We're going to be talking more Ohio State football in the not too distant future. But thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. Really, really appreciate you guys. Hope everyone has a great rest of your evening. I hope you're still basking. I know you are. Go Bucks.